Wild and crazy. I don't know how well this is working. Let me make sure I got my thingy up here. Got my stream up, etc, etc. Oh, there we go, there we go. Alright, we got some ads. Hell yeah. Howdy doody. Can people hear things alright? Got them ads. Sounding good. Excellent. You like this New Jack Swing Zelda thing I pooped out real quick? Turn on my mic a little. Let's see. Purest gain, increase. Mic, increase. Thingy down. Is that better? I'm a quiet lad. But if it's too quiet, just let me know. I have all the mixing stuff right here. Subscribe. Dwelling of Duels we Max Absolute Lad. The absolute boy. Alright, well, it's 9:01. I guess I can start. And I guess we can all subscribe and like and follow the Dwelling of Duels Twitch channel because it's a good thing to do. And it's good for your soul. And it makes you feel like, makes you feel like that. So, we're doing synth thingy majiggies. I don't know how basic you want me to go, or, you know, like if I should be like, here's the ADSR and blah blah blah, or if I should just start fiddling things and stop if people have questions. So, I don't know. I'm just gonna solo a cool lead. Gonna initialize it, and it'll probably be really loud. That's the first pro tip. It starts off really loud, and I always have to turn it down. 100% noob. Maximum noob. Alright, well this is Vital. It's really nice, and it's free and cool, and it looks like many other synths. Synthesizer? I'm here for all the mangy guitarists in Dwelling of Duels who don't know how to use synthesizers. I'm one of them, but I also do synths. So, this is the main interface. It's really nice and cool. On Vital, I like to start with the basic shapes, because it's like sine wave, square or sine wave, triangle, sawtooth, square, and then kind of pulse wave, NES looking things. Let's see. So let's try and make a lead here. So basically you want to think of waves as like the timbre that you're working with originally, sine wave being really soft, and then saw wave being really harsh, and then square is like harsh but kind of smooth. It's weird. So let's do a square wave because those are fun. So then once you have this idea in mind, you can go to your handy dandy ADSR over here. So this first envelope, you have a bunch of envelopes here on the side. The first one is going to be the overall envelope for the synth. So like, if you mess with these, it won't mess with the attack time of the sound. This is kind of like an extra bonus thing you can put on other knobs. So if you want to sculpt this, you can increase the attack, and that'll make it swell all slowly. It's fun. Do it short, you can do it like that. Usually for leads, you want it a quick attack, but there's some occasions like those. I'll make one of those smooth jazz synths. Kind of want a little bit of attack. And then your DK will be. So DK won't affect anything unless you also mess with the sustain. Also, let me know if this is too fast, scatterbrain all over the place. So if you had your sustain all the way down, then you can see what the decay actually does. There's also a nice little visual here. You can also affect the curve of it. So it'll stay at max volume longer and then slowly fade down. Or the opposite of that. If you really crank up decay, it'll be pretty much consistent, but it'll waver a little bit. And let's see. So sustain. So sustain will now, you can see this starts up here, and then wherever the sustain is, that's the final volume it'll rest at. It's kind of like a secondary volume knob. Then the release, from that secondary volume, when you let go of the note, it'll hold that and then kind of do the same curve again. You can make little sounds like that. You can make little pingy noises like that, where if you just hit it real quick, but you want to delay after your decay. That's a fun little trick. But for this, we'll do a nice long decay for this sound. And the first thing I'm going to do, just because I should do it at the start, is attach an LFO to the mod wheel. So when you turn up the mod wheel, it'll oscillate the pitch like a lot of synths do. So we're going to put LFO on the right pitch is like small cents. It's not a huge amount. You move your synth window over a bit. Yes, I can easily do that. Is that better? Yes, yes, yes. I wanted you guys to feel like you were part of the synth, so you were inside the synth. Alright, so this small pitch thing on the right, the maximum it can go is like two steps, I think. Oh, and I guess I should say, to assign things in Vital and a lot of other ones, you hold this little box and you can see everything you can drag it to. Wee! So I want to put it on this pitch right here, and then you'll have this little disc, and if you hover it, it'll tell you how much it's doing. So right now it's doing 1 step. If you right click on it, you can make it bipolar, which means it'll go beyond, it'll go both ways. So like, originally it would just go up and back to center, but bipolar it'll go up and down around it, which is what you want for a little vibrato. Wee, 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 that's annoying. So, you can also make it go faster. So the LFO window is here where I dragged it from. You can increase the speed if you want. That's fun. You can go. I like to put it on sync mode. When you do trigger, it's like every single time you hit the note, it'll start over from the beginning. Whereas sync, it's kind of always going on in the background. And from there, we want to attach it to the mod wheel. So you can actually put things on top of things. So the disc I have there, that was for the LFO. I'm putting the mod wheel on top of that. So now that's controlling this amount. So when I do the mod wheel, it controls it and it's magical. We'll do it at 1. Oh, and if you really want to get precise, you can right click and enter a value. And I can say 1. I want 1 step of vibrato. So now we have a fun vibrato, and it's a basic square wave. So now we can make fun sounds. So basically, it's all about, like, synthesizers are like their own mixers. You want to be wary of like the levels of, because they have 3 oscillators, you want to think about the levels, what frequencies those are occupying. The mod wheel, on the left side of everything, you have These are the big macros where if you have like a controller with knobs, you can assign all of these. And then you have pitch wheel here and mod wheel on the bottom left. And if you manually wanted to do it, the mod wheel is right below that. Wee, wee, wee. So yeah, everything is, it's kind of like a mixer where like if you put 3 low oscillators all together and you put distortion and a bunch of stuff on them, it'll just muddy up the sound. So you're just kind of working with palettes and also just fiddling around. As long as you know generally how everything works, a lot of the process is just like playing around with stuff and hoping it sounds cool. So let's see. Easy thing to do to make everything sound better is add reverb. We all know reverb, we love it. For that like jazzy synth sound, they like to put flangers kind of in the background. Kind of gives it like breathing almost, because you can see how it's... I really like Vital because you can see how everything is moving and how it's affecting the sound. So that's fun. One weird trick. Oh, and another thing that's good is if you're doing a lead and you want it to be monophonic, down here at the bottom there's a little voice slider. So you put it down to 1, and now only one voice can play at a time. And the portamento is to the right of that. You want to add glide. And then you have your legato, always glide. I don't know what octave scale does. It's a weird one. But always glide means... Oh no! I might have done that. That's crazy. I was like, look, this is where the thing is. It's over here. So I like always glide. So you can just always vibe around. It's a slow glide. We want a long glide. That's fun. Alright, let's make it sound more fun though. Let's see. So this is a wavetable synth, and this first knob is all affecting the wavetable, and for this it's just a simple square wave. So we're gonna, I don't know, let's stretch the square wave a little bit. You can see it makes it kind of a sharper sound. Also, we're gonna get into filters now. This is Vital. It's free and really good. It's like Serum, but free. I love it. So on each of these oscillators, you can see what filter it's getting assigned to. So I'm going to keep it on filter 1. And turn on our filter here, and you can see that it's on now. And it affects things. Who would have thought? Let's see. So now we're going to get into some fun envelope stuff. So we have, this was our main envelope that affected all the sound. Now we're going to do a secondary one just for this filter. We click and drag this envelope onto the frequency. Now every time you hit a note, this envelope that we've just defined will adjust the frequency value and raise it. Do like a quick one that shoots up and goes back down. It's fun. And then if you wanted to give it some resonance, that adds a really high peak, really narrow Q value. So when it sweeps like that, you'll get like a wow wow wow. If you crick it too high, it's like a laser sound. We just want a little bit. that's fun. So now let's try, wow! Let's try layering. Also, I think this is a little quiet, so let's, so let's add another oscillator. You can, there's little lights you can click to turn off and on all the little oscillators. Now we're just gonna keep doing basic shapes because they're fun. Very cool. Let's add a square under that to give it kind of like a body, because when I pinched the frequencies here, it kind of removed the low end from it. So now I want to bring that low end back. More wings with the second square wave. Okay. Oh, we also realize that this one is unaffected by this filter because it's on filter 2 right now. So if I wanted them both to have the same wee woo, I can move it to filter 1. That's more in the background because the high frequency isn't coming through, so it blends a little better. Now let's add delay. Delay is also a cheap thing that makes things sound better. Hello, he's here, he's here! You missed I made it an entire synth sound with endless complexity, and I didn't keep dragging this window around either. You missed a lot, it was crazy. So delay is also an easy hack, and I really like Vital's delay because you can see each, like, how each trail is getting smaller when you mess with the feedback. Let's do a slow delay. I think I want this to decay more. It gets quieter as it goes along. Okay, and now what if I did this? So now I'm fiddling with the envelope that's controlling the filter. Because right now it's getting quiet immediately. I want it to get, you know, dampened again, but not too much. So I'm using the sustain to kind of raise where that endpoint is. And if you look at my filter, you can see how it's moving up and down when I mess with the sustain. I'm just kind of going by ear to see what the final timbre I want it to sound like will be. This is fun. I like this sound. And then the Twilight Zone. If you want the easy, even more easy sound good button, you turn the compressor on, and then it just makes everything sound crazy. I gotta turn the mix down. The mix is always way too high. This is pretty cool. I like this. So this could be usable because you don't want to get too complex. If you make like 3 different totally complex crazy sounds and then you smash them all together, if you have an entire other mix, it won't play nice necessarily. Although what if we made it a little more? I like shoving FM into everything. So I'm gonna put sine wave, FM modulating oscillator 2, which is the square wave. So below, you can see when you click below these knobs, you can see all the options for how you want to tweak the sound. There's like wavetable tweaking, and then this is also wavetable tweaking, but it's a different kind. And at the bottom of this list, you have FM and ring mod. I'm gonna FM this, and I'm gonna lower the octave so it gives like some bass to it. You know what? And let's add another envelope that swells this up. So as the sound goes on, this FM comes up from under it. So we're going to grab another envelope, do a long attack, and then we'll have it decay a little bit so it doesn't just always hold that note. We're going to drag it over to the volume of this oscillator. Now we have a going through it. That's another thing you want to be wary of. If you make a synth sound and it's just the whole time without any variations to it, it gets tiring on long notes. So some of the stuff you can do is you could put an LFO on the pitch to wobble it slightly. Another fun one to do is mute these. You see, hear that? It's just it's not gonna be dubstep wobble, but I like putting it on. This is really good for pads. If you mess with the phase amount, it adds a kind of warble to it. So if you put an LFO on the phase, bipolar, do a big one, and then a slow LFO. Sync mode, so it's just always going on in the background. That's probably too slow. Maybe something like that. That's kind of a vibrato, but not quite. It's not a pitch vibrato, a tremolo maybe, I guess. Another thing, we could layer this now. I could put the slow envelope that I had for the FM synth. I could put that on this LFO, so it slowly comes in with the wobble. So I've put that envelope onto, where did I put this? Here. Onto this modifier. It should slowly rise up with the wobble. Kind of subtle. Let's hold it a little bit so you can hear it. Then it evens out. So now, because we have an FM modulator on the sound that's wobbling, when the FM comes in, it's more exaggerated. That's wacky. So that's fun. We made bees. We did it. We finally made bees. We did it. I think I moved it over again. I don't know when I keep doing it. It's subconscious. We did it. We made bees. Live on stream. It's bees. Alright, so that's a fun patch. Let's add some more glide to the bees. Good, good. Oh, another insta sound good, but be careful with it, is the unison stuff. The bees are mine. I'm just kidding. I'll share these in the Dwelling of Duels Discord. Join the Dwelling of Duels Discord. Also join the Patreon, and then you can support the channel. Also subscribe. Twitch Prime. Subscribe. Shill. It's good. Support us. Yes, we have the links. We have the links there. There we go. Yeah, I'll put these in the Discord, and then everyone can enjoy. Every entry will sound like bees for a month. So anyway, the unison is another instantly sound good button, but you have to be careful with it. So each one has its own unison, and it can go up to 16 voices, which is, you really want bees. That's some bees. That's the real bees right there. So this is just adding voices, and you can kind of see how it splits when you increase the percentage. But it's just adding more and more voices that are slightly more off in pitch next to each other. And it also stereo spreads them, I think. So when you just get a ton. It gets pretty wild. But adding just like 2 unison, 2 to 3 with like 10%, it's like a nice kind of stereo widening. What do you mean, T-Bone? It's like that one oscillator will have all of these unisons. Oh, not, it depends on where you put it. Like the annoying thing with a lot of synths like this, if I wanted to have all of them modulate the pitch, actually I don't remember if there's a global, well, you could put it on global tune, I guess. I should do that. Global tune on the mod wheel. But anyway, if you're doing like level, you would have to put, you know, LFO here, LFO here, LFO here for certain, you know, because each one has their own effects. For that kind of stuff, you'd have to process it separately, but there are overall things you can do to the sound. Like if you're running them all through the one filter and blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Also, the unison is crazy in this thing. You can go to advanced and mess with like the kind of unison it is, where it just plays a whole major chord. You can like mess with the spread of each. It's wild. You can make it like an octave lower if you want even more range on a sound, octave higher. And then each of these has their own unison you can do, and again, if you stack 3 of these and you're doing too many complex sounds, it'll probably sound bad, but there's a lot of workarounds you can do to having only 3 oscillators. Just like there's workarounds for only having 2 filters, this first knob has a low pass and a high pass on it if you want to tweak an oscillator before, like in the early stage, or like do an effect on it. So anyway, we made Bs, and Bs are good. What do you want? What do you want? We want another lead sound, bass sound, pad sound. Was all this confusing garbage? You want me to slow down and go backwards? What do people want? Only 3 os. More! 3 is nothing. We made Bs. Initialize preset. Make me sound like an NES. Okay, here you go. Basic shapes. You did it. You would need, I think you need a good wavetable for that. For the basic shapes one, it's like, it's fun. The basic shapes ones, it's like, here's an entirely quarter pulse, here's a half pulse, here's whatever, and there's no in between. But that's the whole point of the wavetable, is to kind of simulate that effect. I think one of these wavetables, here's a pulse width one, so you can see. Let me change from the 3D view. So you can see this is changing the pulse width. So if I shoved an LFO, this little bar on the right side of this is the wavetable position. So if you put an LFO on this, I think it should give that good sound. Yeah, so that's what you wanted, right? Something like that. And then if you wanted to emulate the triangle wave, you know how the bass has kind of the aliasing on it? I think you can do, where is it? Here we go. Get out of here. Yeah. Oh, it's still on the LFO's still on. Oh, if you double click, I did it again. If you double click the assignment you've made, it gets rid of it. Do a triangle wave. So there's the quantize one just quantizes it and squishes it until it just becomes a square wave pretty much. So you can kind of put that on to give some aliasing to a sound. Turn that off. That's a fun effect you can do. You mess with that. I think in it, it's similar on the distortion unit on here. there's a bit crusher. You know what a bit crusher is. So like you can kind of do it with that, but it's also distortion, I think. That's like Turbo NES. That's the good stuff. So that's a fun thing to do. I've done that on some sounds. If you kind of use the drive as like a dry wet knob. LFO, square wave. You could do like, oops. You know, you can kind of use, I like, you know, using effects, either the sends or like the mix amount. Just moving effects up and down is kind of a cool effect when you can just automate everything inside of a synth. That's the fun. You want yo-yo, you just shove a bunch of chorus on it and then do like a formant filter. Here's the ayui. Anyway, let's see. So now what? What do you want? I can make like a cool pad. Pads are fun to make. You just jack up the attack. You get some release. Get some reverb on it. Then you're good to go. Wow, I'm done already. Just kidding. So let's, I don't want to overwhelm people with the wild and crazy wavetables that are on here. Some of these, like this dudes, are all like, bro, what is this thing? Stringish. Let's see. You can do basic shapes for a stringish pad. And then you have to think timbre of it. So either a saw or a square wave, but then a filter on top to get rid of the harshness of it. Let's try a square. Horrible. Okay, so now this is also loud, I think. Turn this down a little bit. Let's put some chord. Oh, I have a little pad here already. Let's migrate this. Let's do that. Move these down an octave. Okay, this is also another pro tip, is to just have MIDI going so you don't have to fiddle with your keyboard. Turn this down a little bit. Okay, so, what you could do is stack a bunch of square waves and then detune them. Alt-2 to go octave down. You got tricks, I also could have just done it here and just changed the octave here, but oops. Right there. There we go. So I'm gonna do another square wave. Saw could work actually. We're gonna do a square with 2 sawtooth waves. That's lovely. Then we're going to detune these from each other. Another classic trick is to just, oops, is this loud? Is to detune one a few cents this way, detune the other a few cents the other way, and then it creates a. So now, let's kind of simulate a volume swell by putting the mod wheel on the frequency. So now if you fiddle with the mod wheel... I'm not recording on that one. Yes, I mean, this is kind of that. So we have that, and now I think we could add our friend Flanger again. That's a lot of Flanger. Now let's do unison on the square wave. Too much. Now we're gonna add a slow LFO on the unison percent, so the detuning kind of phases in and out. That's a lot. Just a little bit. Going to do slower frequency. Barely noticeable, but it's doing something, I swear. Let's see. This is pretty good. What else can we add to this thing? Distortion might be too much. Oh yeah. I like the idea of it swelling to distortion. Maybe we could do drive up, mix down, so it's like, but kind of quiet. We'll try that. It's just fiddling with stuff. You're like, what if we just try this? And then you do it, and it takes a few seconds. So we're gonna do, we'll probably mimic this. Look at this. If you click on a knob, you can see what your number is. This is at 0.8 seconds, so we'll emulate that. And we'll shove it going up. Oh, that's too slow. Or that's too fast. Let's go slower. Do that, and then we'll try it going down on the mix. So you can kind of hear it. It's kind of saturating it as it goes. Do it slower. Cool. What else can we do to this? What else? I think it needs a little more high end. Oh, so when you... How do I make it go backwards, the mix knob? So when you bring a... when you drag something onto something, if you click and hold it, moving down will move it one way, and you move it up, it'll go the other way. So you can see how it fills up clockwise and counterclockwise depending on which direction you're going. You can see it better. Basically you just over or under drag from the center. Chorus, all the effects. No problem. But what if we do a down sample? It's a cool thing. And the fidelity goes down as it goes up. Let's try, I'm gonna just shoving all the effects on it. This is alright, and probably good enough, but I'm just gonna keep shoving stuff on it. So now let's run these through the comb filter as well. Scratch. Yeah, the visuals just help in general for all these concepts. You're like, what do these actually look like? And you just get to see it all move and play out. I love this UI. Another really cool UI feature of this It only shows you what you need currently. You see I have 3 envelopes. If I drag the 3rd envelope on, I now have 4, I have 5, I have 6. It just shows you what you need, and I think 6 is the highest. Love that. Same with the LFOs. I think there's 6 LFOs. Put an LFO on the comb to slowly comb it. You can also make your LFOs stereo, which is a really cool visual. It's like trippy. Now we have a comb filter panning as it goes through the frequencies. You can change the mix of the filter. Another cool thing you can do, you can feed filter 2 into filter 1 and vice versa. If you look at right here, you can either click over here and mess with all these, or on the filters themselves there's these little buttons that show you where you're routing them. Right now this is on 2 and 3, this one's on 1, 2, and 3. If you want to route them to each other, there's these little things. And now let's add an overall pitch. Ooh, I forgot it has a nice spectrogram too. That's cool. Alright, let's add a really slow pitch warble to it. And maybe like a medium speed pitch warble. Too much. Slower. Sync mode. It's like a Boards of Canada sound now. Alright, one of these effects is too much. The chorus? Maybe it's not. Alright. That's a fun preset. Oops. I made more bees. Biz. Pad sound. You can add a description, so when you get this, you see this, and you go, what? That's bees. I have a fun trick that I want to show that you can do with the LFOs. One weird trick to make your LFOs go blee 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 blee. Let's see, a good thing to do with this. Sawtooth. And let's do sync. Sync is a cool effect. So this is the real fun stuff with the wavetable. These knobs are just instant. Oh, that was a cool thing I did. And animating them or automating them is real fun. I'm just gonna use one of these presets. Do the staircase one. That's fun. So it's cool. There's a smooth knob. It basically means how much it's obeying how sharp that step is. So this right now looks like a staircase. And it's really If you turn the smooth up, it smoothens it out. It's more like a ramp. That's a fun thing you can automate. It's to just kind of add rhythmic complexity to it. So if I put that to the mod wheel, let's make it fast. Oops, so fast. I don't like the way that sounds. Kind of a sound designy thing, but you can get cool rhythmic pads. And if you want to, like, you know, make a patch that does 100 different things, this is a fun thing you can do to one. All right, let's make a bass patch. I think it was bend. Is it bend? It's kind of like a plucky bass sound. Alright, so I'm going to add another sine wave under it to our good friend FM Synth. That's fun. Fun thing about... yeah. It's not, no, it's not that. What are you talking about? Couldn't be. The fun thing about FM Synth is that it really gets exaggerated when you mess with the pitches instead of it being a perfect, you know, octave. So this is like a semitone off, but it doesn't sound the worst. It just makes it sound like, oh, it's kind of weird. You can just make it stankier. That's probably too much though. Now it's kind of like a sub bass. So look at that, you fiddle and you go, oh, that was a cool sound, I have a new bass. Alright, what if I go an octave above? Fun thing to do is automate someone like messing with the knob to the beat. This is good for LFOs. So we'll do the square preset. And we'll put it on this smear. Put it on sync so it's always going in the background. It's probably too extreme. Now this doesn't play nice if you're not super quantized, because then it'll be like halfway in between a note, you'll get some square doing something you don't want it to do. Oh, and a lot of these effects have built-in filters to them, which is cool. They're a little unintuitive, because you're like, oh, cutoff is this and this, but then if you mess with the spread, you can move it more from there. I just want the high end on this echo. Maybe we'll ping pong it. This is like a bass and saxophone combined. So something you can do, you have the one main envelope, you can kind of bypass it if you just shove a different envelope onto the level. So like if I wanted kind of like a bass that emulates like a hi-hat or just to add some kind of transient to the beginning of it. Right now this white noise is obeying, like this note is on and it's gonna stay on, so you have a full blast white noise. But if I put a short envelope on the level, every time it hits, it's just gonna do this really short envelope instead. So let's put on the level. Now we're grooving. I don't use the sample thing too much, but it's really good for adding transients, or on pads you can swell white noise under it and it kind of makes it alive. I kind of like this though. Now we need to add the wee woo wow woo wee woo, which means fun filters. As for this, well, hold off on the sample for now. Alright, let's put another envelope on the filter. We'll make it a quick one. If you increase the Q, you get that meow 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 that everyone loves. Oh, another thing. Good thing I haven't gone over yet. Velocity sensitivity. None of this is like that to start. In the corner here, there's a note one, which low note will be down, highest note will be up. Velocity control, pressure slide, all that's for like MPE, multi-dimensional nonsense. And then you can just put random values into things. That's really good if you want a sound that will always be varied. So velocity sensitivity, we can make it so the harder we hit, the more filter comes out. So just to show that, put on the filter, jack it up, and we can get, I'm not playing on that one. Turn this off. The harder you hit it, you can see the filters moving up and down more. That's a fun thing you can do. The note thing is really helpful if you're trying to emulate a real instrument, maybe. Like, the higher it goes, maybe the shorter the sound will be, or maybe you change the filter with it. And the cool thing about all of these is if you go into the matrix, you can adjust the curves of everything. So this is for the velocity curve. You make it so it only does something if you hit it really hard. Like a normal curve. And as with everything else, the velocity can control something else. So you can control the percentages of anything else. So if you want more LFO or envelope, you can drag the velocity onto one. But for now, we'll just keep doing our fun envelope. Oh, and I forgot about this thing. Is there anything fun we can do with this thing? Shove it into a filter. I don't know, we could do... What if we did... Yeah, we could just put in some wacky filter and then control that with the note maybe. So it'll add some variance to each hit. Do note. Maybe add an LFO to this so it's got some variance. Actually, let's add a random. You can make it so it just randomly hits different vowel shapes. Okay, and then what else do I want to do with this? Oh, I wanted to tweak. Vital, good, free, I love it. Let's see. So now we can affect the... Oops. Now we can affect the note range. This is important because, you know, if you have a bass sound, it's only going to be in this area. But if you want to take full advantage of all the differences, you can double click on this thing and make more points. Let's just say this is our lowest note and this is our highest note. Now we have a different curve that more accurately reflects what we're playing. You can also put that on the pitch too. Let's try that. Now we have a silly thing going on in the background. Is it good? I don't know, but it's fun. Just kind of weird flavor in the background. Take a water break. That's fun. I don't know, is this sound done? I think it's pretty good. Big stretch. Oh, I guess you can do effects. Compressor, instant good sound. Distortion. Makes everything sound good. All that stuff makes everything sound good. What if we added horrible atonal noise at the top? That could be fun. Yes, good. No, not that. Loud, very loud. Oh yeah, brings out all those good harmonics. So you just have to watch out. You need something like this one has a built-in filter, so you don't blow up the low end with distortion. So you can be like, whoop, get that out of here. Now you just have the high end, the distortion. Oh, this is like sandstorm nonsense now. I like this thing. Sound is wild. Let's see. I like this sound. It's kind of like an acid bass. Probably doesn't fit, but cool. So yeah, since they're like mixers, I could put this kind of in the background of it. Just kind of adding, yeah, this is already kind of saxy, but now it's even more. Oh, this one's fun. This rips apart the wave. This is just like tiny man in a box effect. I also like to put velocity on the Q value of the filter. So when you hit harder, it gives it more squish. Alright, this is funny. think if I change the name, it's fine. Zoop. The loudest typing. On bass sound. Right? Initialize. What else? I'm just cranking through them. Let's just do a bunch of crazy stuff. Clicky robot. I just clicked a random thing. What does it sound like? Ooh, this one's very yo-yo-y. Then it has this bit. See you laters. Thanks for stopping by. Play with it. Just hit random stuff. It's good. That's what everybody does. They're liars if they say they don't do that. No one's like, I'm going to use Clicky Robot at wavetable 87 and then. Thanks for stopping by. Subscribe. Ha 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 ha. Multiple clicky robots. All the clicky robots. It's chaos. Ooh, we have a sketch lord here. Anyone here to take care of the sketch lord? I'll have to do it otherwise. What's up, sketch lord? Performance scale is fun. Kind of like vocalizes a sound. That's how you get funny yo-yo bass noises. At least one of the ways. Yo-yo. We love the yo-yo. And we'll change the thank you. Then we'll use velocity to adjust the yo-yo, so when you hit harder, it yoys harder. Let's make sure my velocities are hard here. Some of them higher. Alright, let's try some nonsense. Let's try an absurdly fast square wave on the filter for no reason. That's fun. Let's put this scary thing on a mod wheel. So when you raise the mod wheel, the scary thing, the robo gargle comes out. Oh yeah, that's fun. Robo gargle. Alright, let's try putting some robo gargle in here. Alright, now let's mess with this for a little bit. Some slow notes instead of very fast lewd bass. Meow. Meow. Who needs synths? I can just do that. Right, let's put another wacky LFO on the wavetable instead. Thank you, it's true. You can make a poll with one answer, or is there a different one? Oh, here's where our fun friend, the smooth knob, can come in handy again. So you can hear how it makes it less horrible. So this is an occasion where you could use a macro. A macro. So on the left side here, there's macros. Call it gargle harshness. So you can drag a macro over to here on the smooth knob, have it go backwards. So now you can put this on some MIDI control. If you want to evolve the sound, you can use the macro now. Got some gargle. It's a very silly sound. Okay, so now I'm hearing a kind of stagnation I was talking about before, so I think I need something to make the voices more fun with each other. What if, I don't know, what if maybe very slow detune or something, opposing detunes. I'm gonna put a new envelope on the small detune at 0.2, and we'll do it on the other one, the other direction. That does something fun. Oh god. It makes it very sad. It's like, it's kind of scary. What if I make it go slower? That's like a little bit of movement. You can also try messing with the phase again. Just put these both in the same direction. Alright, let's make this sound more fun. It's kind of like a Daft Punk sound. It's scary. Oh, this needs a filter. That's why it's so out there in your face. I want to do something like that. So we can do another envelope. Let's try that. Or maybe we'll do the slow. Let's put the slow envelope on it. The filters also have distortion on them. It's kind of less extreme. It's like a saturation. Do a dirty filter as well. Be a little lower. The high end's really cutting through. Oh, I forgot we have the gargle too. Whoa. That low end comes out. Very good. Some chorus on it. That works really well for yo-yo basses. It's like some alien in a cave. We play with the reverb too. 100% wet reverb. What a bizarre sound. Yeah, is this being modulated by something else? That's the fun part, trying to find out where you put your million things. Wookiee with Melodyne. It's true. Everyone's afraid to say it, but it's true. This is a weird sound. I like this. Turn down the high, some lows. Okay, let's see. You can also, this is like losing some low end now if this is supposed to be a bass. So you can just like shove a sine wave under it. Big. That's the big. Let's see. This one's a little too radical now. That's fun. That is a fun bass sound. That's also something to test sometimes to see if your bass works in other situations other than one very specific one. Because then you'll have to make like 5 different basses if they're all doing weird things. Or you have to use macro knobs to kind of get the sound you want. That's cool, that's cool. You crazy kids know how to make drum sounds in a synth? That's fun. That's wacky. Drum sounds are easy. You just get a sine wave, get an envelope, put it on the big pitch, have it be a quick envelope, and then it's a drum. Quicker. Quicker. That's fun. I tried to make toms once where, depending on the key range, it would like tweak the pitch values and it was turning into chaos. That's a fun thing to try. It's probably too much pitch bend. Put a little white noise on it. Put a little release to kind of make it acoustic sounding. Maybe put FM on it to dirty it up. Dangerous game. Ooh. Kind of like an 808 now. See, long release tails with monophonic works really well on synths because the tail will get cut off instead of overlapping a bunch of sounds. So you can make 808 stuff like that. Weights. The tricky thing to balance with doing drum stuff like this with the long reverb tail is you just definitely get a note that you hear more than you would with a drum. But it's usually best to have kind of a lower volume tail and less of a tail. Tweaking, tweaking, tweaking. Still so much pitch information in this thing. Trick. I think increasing, because we have the envelope controlling the pitch on the way down, if it hits back to the center pitch too fast, then it's too defined. So maybe if we slow it down, it'll help. Now it's a laser. I turn down the amount that it's pitching. This on the filter too. It's kind of cool. That white noise is doing a lot of work to make it sound like a drum. Ooh, I forgot. Can you pitch white noise? Ah, so you can pitch white noise. So this would be a good time to do keyboard follow, or you can have it follow the note that you're playing. Then we're gonna have to go into the matrix to make it a better range. Down to here. Down to here. So now it should follow the pitch a little. Is that working? about what we want. Now, we'll kind of follow the pitch of our, which probably isn't realistic, but it's cool. Turn that down a little bit. Let's see. Is there anything we can do to this sound? Maybe not. Gotta fiddle with knobs. What if we flicked it really fast with an envelope to get that little tight sound at the beginning? Ooh, that's kind of good. This FM is too radical. Too radical is this FM. Maybe it's alright, these are some good toms. Except they need Phil Collins reverb on them. Bigger. Bigger. Bigger! Yes. Perfect. Perfect tom sound. Right. A decent tom. These preset names are horrible. That's your Tiny Tom. Not so Tiny Tom. Not so bees after all. It's all bees, always has been. Should probably save it without an ass ton of reverb on it. That's good enough. Pew pew pew. Over right. Stretch break. Water break. Everybody drink water, it's good for you. And also subscribe, that's also good for you. And follow. That's good for you too. And Patreon. That's another good one. Alright, are there any other... I've covered every synth sound there is on the planet. Is there any other one you wanna hear? Scrub Sibe. Any other cool sounds? Any other wacky digits? Iwi. I did that one tone that sounds like an Iwi. I could grab the preset and see what I did. What did I do on that one? Me. Where's me? A million presets. Alright, my "we'll be right back" one is funny. That's a goodie. That the sound? Look at this. It's a sawtooth wave. Look how easy that is. It's just a bunch of filtering. A bunch of trickery. That's a fun sound. You know, is iwi like, you know, people play the sounds. Does it have like a stock sound, or are people just playing famous synths with the iwi? It's like, you know, there's different iwi sounds out there. I see. Yeah, look how much work this like filter with the long roll off is doing. It's doing all the work. I'm basically not doing much else with this thing. I have an envelope and velocity controlling how much filter you get. And then there's a little bit of attack on it, so it's not like so it's kind of emulating a breath. And then a bunch of effects, but they're kind of minor. Phasers and flangers in the background. Kind of adding some movement in the background. I can try to make another one with a square wave this time. What does a square wave do? The same thing, but slightly different. All the effects. That's really what you do. You just put something on and then you add a million effects and you're like, look, I made the sound. Alright, let's go on to this track. Do this. Yeah, no, we're good. This dirty filter, the drive really dirties the sound up. Who would have thought? So to emulate an iwi, a lot of it, you need to emulate all the breath control stuff too. So that's why I like to use the mod wheel for some of it. You can use these macros for some of it. If you have an expression pedal, you can hook that up. So you can either do mod wheel on like, well, it's tricky because mod wheel is usually like vibrato, but you could use it on the volume. And I like to just kind of double up on stuff. So I'll do like volume and filter on the mod wheel. Oops. Put that there. We'll put it on here as well. Let's see what that sounds like. When you play on it, it sounds like something. Go. That's one thing that I like to do. And really those million effects really help add to that sound. And it's basically an EWI sound. Like when you add more oscillators to it, it complicates things. Could also be cool though. Have a sharper sound underneath it. Then maybe layer like an octave higher. Ooh. I have a note holding forever, that's fun. Who's doing that? I don't know if there's a kill switch on this thing. Oh, there is. Maybe. Kill, steal. Love it when a note holds forever for no reason. Why is it doing that? What note is that? Dude, I just hit that note. That was instinct. That's crazy. Just no scope that note. See, the octave is probably too high, this one. Put some unison on the really high note. Sounds kind of like a space whistle. One thing you have to watch out for if you do the long reverb tail is if you're still fiddling with the pitch bend, it'll keep going. Oh yeah, you can also change the amount of bend on the synth, so you can make it like an octave bend if you want. That's a funny. Alright, here's a EWI. The tricky thing is, like, you want the slow attack on like, breathy things, but when you go fast, you lose it. So one trick you can do is make it so the harder you hit, the quicker the attack is, so the note's pluckier. So, for example, this is like a drastic way of showing it. So it's good to have kind of a narrow attack range and then have the velocity make it a little faster. You can also use that kind of attack on the filter instead of just the volume at the beginning. Ooh, this isn't on the filter. There's also another choice you can make. Like, if this thing is on the filter, the really high one, you won't really hear it as much. Then if you just have it bypass the filter, you have, you know, the filtered sound and then like a nice little bell on top. The choice is you. I think I'll leave it on top for this. Could also try making like a trumpet sound. Eewee, square dingly. Eewee square dingly. So trumpet sound, a harsher one. Want like a sawtooth. Then again you want a little bit of attack. Bit of release. FM is good for trumpets. Okay. I have another way you can introduce phasing unison detune stuff. You have the FM oscillator and move the really small tuning knob. Then if you attack this one in, it comes in slower. You only get the full brunt if you really hold the note, otherwise you get kind of snippets of it. You can do like try a pseudo mod wheel vibrato by messing with this slight detune on the FM synth. It might work as a vibrato. That's weird. Really weird. Kinda like it. Could have put a normal vibrato on the other part. Oh, that's nasty. That's real nasty. I don't know how usable that is. It's cool sounding. If we do big that. Let's see. Faster vibrato. Maybe. Probably not. It's an idea. It does. There's a lot of things that sound cool that may or may not be good for the song. Okay, now this needs some filtering. Maybe to get some of this harshness out. So a quick spike to get the brunt of the high frequencies and then reel it back a little bit. You can try that. Put some chorus and reverb on it. Right now I'm using the envelope to spike it to the highest frequency I want. Then the decay is how fast I want it to go down, and then the sustain is the final level I want the sustained note to sound. So you can hear the timbre difference, kind of play style difference with something like that. That's something you might want to put velocity on to control. The harder notes give that fuller sound. Let's see, so let's try decay on velocity. Turn this down more. In case you didn't know the difference between the 12 dB and the 24 dB filter, it's just the sharpness of the curve and how it rolls off. So with the 12 dB curve, you get, even though it's rolling them off, you get more of the high end, and 24 is a lot sharper. And these different ones just kind of have different shapes for the resonant filter and all that stuff. Similar but different. I'm going to use the 24 because it cuts it off harsher, so the sweeping effect is more dramatic. Velocity on this envelope. Losing the high end now. I want to keep some of that. Chorus and reverb. Let's do that. Big reverb. It's a nice sound. Kind of turn this to a bell sound, a little ping instead, where you make it short but have a long release. True, chorus just smooths everything really nicely. Ooh, that's a big difference when you change that attack. Nice, kind of like keys now. Some delay on this. Blip, 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 blip. Fun little blips. We did more chorus. And that's aesthetic, as the kids say. It was a song the whole time. Release the beast. Need a good key sound. It was a secret song the whole time. Alright. Key sounds. What's a good key sound? This one's called Stabbed, so that sounds cool for keys. Ooh, all these are good. And let's just stack various points of this wavetable. Basically like changing the octave. Another stab. You get a stab. You get a stab. Everybody gets stabbed. Fun time. Put this in the middle so we don't go crazy. Gotta be careful with like pads or like key stuff. If you spread the octaves too far, then a chord is just way far on the frequency spectrum. Gonna make it so it's not infinite sustain and it kind of ducks down pretty quickly. Some release. This harmonic stretch one pretty much kind of shifts the frequencies up or down. It's like it makes it brighter without it being too harsh. This is like really high-end material, but it's not like piercing. I like it. We'll put these little dinglies at the top. And the sync does that, but the extreme version, I don't want that. Oh, that's kind of... What if we did the one we just had mixed with this super high-end? So that was wavetable 37.51. It's gotta be right. Repeating, of course. Harmonic stretch all the way up. I think, yeah. So now we'll mix that with the really high one. Ooh, HD. Might be too HD. On the cusp. Now we need the meat of it, or at least kind of like different sound. So tingy. Let's see, let's try. Oh yeah, you're asking about pulse width modulation. This one pretty much does that, but to any sound. Pretty wild. Hear the same kind of squishing effect. This would be good for like a drop. Like, here comes the drop! Squeeze it a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh, now it sounds good. It's kind of like a Rhodesy thing. Like a, you know what I'm talking about. Could modulate this unison to make it kind of like a... Yeah, it sounds like an upright that's fell out of a truck. I can make this like a chorus EP kind of sound if I modulate the unison percent. Let's do that. Not that much. Just a little bit. Maybe fast? Might be too fast. Too fast. I want it slow. Ooh, so high pitched. Might be worth filtering this one, or all of them. Let's try a filter. It might destroy the crispness of it. But we can try having a filter that spikes that high note and then pulls off. We're gonna do a really quick envelope. Maybe have it release the filter so it rolls off a little bit after the note's been hit. Oops. Ooh. That's a, if you don't want it to meow like a cat, you gotta get rid of that resonance. Now you get a pluck, but that ringing isn't just still hitting it. More pronounced if you do 24 dB. Comes a lot tighter, quicker. Might add a tiny bit of resonance, just so the plucky's louder. Would chorus be good? Gotta be careful. I know you like putting chorus on things, but if you put it on everything, then all those choruses and all that stereo is just everywhere. And do it just a little bit. A little bit slow, wide. Too much! Tiny bit. Just put a tiny bit. I don't even know if it's doing anything, but it probably is. Small reverb. This sounds a little muddy. I don't know if this sparks joy. What if I put a high pass on there? I don't know if that's... Is this even a pad? Oh, this is this weird thing. This is this pad that I made earlier. Maybe if I filter it, it won't be horrible. Yeah, we're just gonna slowly increase this. You don't get blasted by it right away. And we'll make the sync not go all the way up, because that hurts. So I'll go a little under, so it ends lower, but you can still go through a bunch of steps. You can also kind of do nonsense. I could put 2 envelopes. I could put one that spikes it and goes right down, and then the second one is coming up with a slow bit. I might do that. Spike it with 1 envelope to get that initial burst of high stuff. Oops. Probably not going to work with this slow attack though. Have to be hold it for a little bit. Now it's like wee. It's like wee wee. Very technical terms here. And those keys really cut through. That high, mega high one is just. Well, that's cool. That's pretty much 2 hours. Oof. Oy, 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 oy. Join our Discord server. I'm there, and other people are too, and we're all cool and handsome and pretty. And it's a great time. I think I'm about done. I can wrap it up. Thank you for watching, people that watched. I hope you learned something. I'm all over the place, and I didn't thank you. I didn't super explain everything all the time, but Vital is super easy. You load it up. Like, I tried to mostly use basic shapes. Like, you go to initialize, factory, and basic shapes. And that's just like, you can make a lot of sounds because you can see, you know, you twist 1 knob and it's like, that's not a sawtooth anymore. So just fiddle around. You just have to know what's too far, and you just kind of have to think. Like I said, it's like a mixer, like a frequency thing. You're just kind of shoving stuff together. You're playing around with it, but not going too far in a bunch of places and blah blah blah. It's a good time. You know, if you get it, it comes with some presets, and a lot of people, if you go to the forums, there's a ton of free presets. Every month people make them and compile them into a Vital bank, and you load the one bank and it explodes into a bunch of presets. So, you know, just grab someone's preset, look at what they did, fiddle around with it, and you'll learn something. A lot of crazy hidden tricks, but as you see, you can make a bunch of cool sounds with just basic shapes and these knobs that completely change the sound. Oh, here's another little thing. You can shift this. Whoa. So that's another way you can add movement. One last little lesson. Instead of doing like the phase, you could mess with this thing. All right. You can also, here's another, I'm just gonna throw another thing out here. You can do the whole wavetable thing. You can just like import. Oh no, not again. You can just like import a wave file and turn it into a wavetable, which is this fun kooky thing. So like, I've done it before where you like make a synth sound in Vital, and then you make a waveform of like a C note, and then you just shove that in there, and then you can have that as one oscillator, and then put other crap under it. It's pretty wild what you can do. And I think what's cool, I think when you have a, like someone makes a bespoke wavetable, I think it's like in with the preset. Like you don't have to grab their wavetable. So when you get the preset, it has their little thing you can mess with. I think this synth is super easy, like super intuitive. Like the only hard part is learning synth stuff in general, but the layout is super nice. It's really clear. If you want to get into stuff more, there's the advanced tab and all that, but yeah, I think it's Easy and cool and good. I don't know. I think that's everything. Do I just shut it off? Who knows? Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you learned something and it was good and fun and cool. And here's my weird Zelda what is it called? New Jack Swing. Tune in Thursday for something else, maybe. And that you can count on. That maybe something will happen. Now I think I have a keybind that will shut off the stream. Have a good night, day, everybody.